Hi guys, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Faith, and on this channel I talk about general leveling up, especially for those nurses who want to relocate from their countries to the US to work as nurses. So if you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. And if at the end of this video you find this video helpful, please hit the subscribe button and also like this video so that we can keep this channel growing. So today guys, we are talking about immunizations. I've gotten a lot of questions about immunization, especially those vaccines that someone has to get for them to be issued a visa. That's what we are going to talk about today. So without delaying, let's just get right into the video. So guys, before we start, I want to just put a disclaimer out there that I'm not an immigration specialist. I'm only following my experience and the research that I've been doing about the vaccines that I'm supposed to get, me and my spouse and other people, if at all you have kids and within different age groups. So that is the research that I've been doing. And also I'll also want to tell you that this schedule that I'm going to give you is not for clinical purposes. It is strictly for immigration purposes, and I got my information from the CDC website. Another important information that you are supposed to take note, guys, is these vaccines, most of the time you don't just get them from any facility that is available for you, because the immigration specialist and immigration officers usually have their preferred hospitals or health facilities that they trust, and people should get their vaccines from those health facilities. So before you go getting these vaccines, just make sure that you are getting them from the recommended health facilities that your country's immigration office prescribes, so that when you go there, they don't start questioning the credibility of the vaccine that you got. Another thing is, guys, because these vaccines are many, most of the time you will need to start getting them as early as possible before even your exit date comes, before you are scheduled for your medicals. So just make sure that you have the right documentation for the vaccines that you got. I know some of you already got these vaccines a long time ago, and in this case you'll be asked to show proof of your immunization. So you need to have a documented proof that showed that you got these vaccines. And for the RNs that are in the program of relocating to the US, most of the time, if you got these vaccines, you need to provide your titers results. You need to go to the lab, they test your immunity, and if you are immune to these diseases, it will show positive titers, and you need to provide that to immigration and your agencies to prove that you are immune to these vaccines, so to these diseases. So just take note of that. But so the first vaccine that the CDC recommends for your immigration purposes is the Tdap vaccine, and it is the diphtheria, tetanus, and pertussis vaccine. We have the pediatric and the adult recommendations. So if you have a kid, they need to get the pediatric formulation, and if you are an adult, you should get the adult formulation. First, I'll list them first, then we'll go into details about this vaccine. Another vaccine that you need for your immigration purposes is the polio vaccine. Yeah, this, we have the oral polio and the injectable. So we'll go into the details later on. Then we have the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine, which is the MMR. You also need this vaccine to be vaccinated against this for your immigration purposes. We have the rotavirus vaccine. That's another vaccine. Then we also have the Haemophilus influenza type B vaccine, the HIB. you also need to be vaccinated against that. There is the hepatitis A vaccine, you need that too. There is the hepatitis B vaccine, you need that too. You need the meningococcal vaccine. Yeah, that's another vaccine. You need the varicella vaccine, and you need the pneumococcal vaccine, the influenza vaccine. Then you also need the seasonal flu vaccine. That one will depend on the season that you'll be landing in the US. So we'll talk more about that later. Then you also need the COVID vaccine, which has been added recently. Yeah. So let's go into detail about these vaccines and the age groups that you require these vaccines for. So the DTaP vaccine, the pediatric formulation, you will need to give your kids between 2 to 11 months at least 3 doses of this vaccine. That is needed. It's not recommended for people over 7 years. So if you have a kid below 12 months to 6 years, they need to get these doses. Even below between 2 months to 11 months, they need these doses. So just take note of that. That is the pediatric formulation. Then we have the Tdap for adults. It is not required for kids below 7 years. So take note of that. And sometimes it is required for kids from 7 to 10 years. And if you are 10 years and above, you will definitely need this vaccine. So just take notes. Then we go to the MMR, the measles, mumps, and rubella virus vaccine. This vaccination should not be done for a baby from 1 month to 11 months. Yeah. But if your kid is over 12 months, you need this vaccination. Up to 64 years, you need this vaccination. You will not need it if you are 64 years and above. So that was MMR. And now we go to the rotavirus vaccine. I'm getting this information from the CDC table. We go to the rota vaccine. If you have a baby from birth to 1 month, they don't need this vaccine. If your baby is above 2 months to 11 months, they need these vaccines. And if your baby is above 12 months and beyond, they don't need this vaccine. And definitely you as an adult or you have a kid that after 11 months, they don't need this vaccine. That is rota. Then there is the Haemophilus influenza type B vaccine. This vaccine is not needed for kids below 11 months. From 12 months to 23 months, these kids need this vaccine. But for you as an adult, you don't need this vaccine. So take note of that. Then we go to the hepatitis A vaccine, which is not needed below 11 months. But from 12 months to 24 months to 23 months, you need this vaccine, but you don't need it in 23 months and beyond. Then for hepatitis B vaccine, you need it throughout all the age groups, but according to the CDC table says that you don't need it from 18 years and beyond. That's what the CDC table says. The next vaccine is the meningococcal vaccine. The CDC doesn't recommend it below 11 years. You don't need it. But if you are 11 years to 18 years, you need it. And above 18 years and beyond, you don't need it. Then we have the pneumococcal vaccine. That is not needed below 1 month, but from 2 months to 59 months, I think that's 5 years, you need it, but you don't need it after 10 years, and up to 64 years you don't need it, but later when you are old you need it. Then you have the influenza vaccine. You don't give it if they are 6 months or less old, but you can need a yearly vaccine for the flu shot if you are 12 months and beyond. This is according to the CDC recommendation from this chart. So let's talk about my experience, what I'm doing as a person. So for me, I was advised to, this is the direction that I was given by my agency. I was supposed to do either titers or to show proof that I have immunity against these diseases or get vaccines. So I had gotten some of these vaccines. I decided to do titers first. And I'll just want to advise you that if you haven't gotten these vaccines, please don't do titers. Just go to do the vaccines, because it will be expensive to do titers and they come back negative. Then you also go pay for the vaccines, which will double cost you. But for me, I knew I had immunity, so I did titers. But these are the vaccines that I was supposed to get, and I believe that most of the registered nurses need to get before they are issued a visa. One is the hepatitis B vaccine. You have to get 3 doses of it. Another vaccine is the measles, mumps, rubella vaccines, the MMR. You are supposed to get 2 doses. Another dose that you're supposed to get is the varicella vaccine, which you're supposed to get 2 doses too. You also have to get the DTaP, Tdap vaccine, yeah, which is 1 dose, and the polio vaccine, which is 1 dose. And upon my inquiries, because I had immunity of all these except I didn't have Tdap, whatever that one I wasn't asked for titers, so I'm supposed to get this vaccine. And I was advised that there is a combination that is called Adacel. It combines the Tdap and the polio vaccine, so I will go for that just as a single shot. And another vaccine that I'm supposed to get is the flu shot. But this flu shot is not really a must, but it is required according to the time you'll have your appointment with the embassy and the time you'll land in the US. If it's within the winter month, that is the October 1st to March 31st, if it is within that period, you will get this vaccine. You'll need to get the flu shot. Yeah, so I'm not sure about that, but that one I haven't gotten it. But you'll definitely need it if your travel arrangements fall between October 1st to March 31st. Another vaccine that has been added on this list is the COVID vaccine, because COVID is a serious virus that is bringing chaos in the world. These vaccines have been added, and there are different types of COVID vaccines. Our country has the Moderna, the Pfizer, the Johnson's, and the AstraZeneca. So it depends on which vaccine you will get, but you'll have to show proof that you've gotten this vaccine. And I think most of the countries, after you get these vaccines, you can get the COVID certificate, the COVID vaccine certificate. So that's also another vaccine that has been added. So I also did research on a baby dependent. I don't have a baby, but I research if you have a baby dependent. You'll also look at that the form, the table that I'll be showing on the screen, and see which vaccines your baby needs. But these are the baby vaccines that you'll need. You'll need the diphtheria pertussis for your baby. I think there are 3 doses. You also need the MMR if your baby is more than 12 months. You'll need the varicella vaccine, which are 2 doses. You'll need the hepatitis B vaccine. Yeah, if they have gotten, you'll need a booster dose. And then you also need a flu shot if your baby is, I think, above 1 year. You look at that chart. I've already forgotten. I was just reading through the chart. Yeah. And then if you have a dependent that is older, like your spouse, these are the vaccines that they will need. They will need the MMR, 2 doses. They will need the varicella, 2 doses. They will need hepatitis B vaccines, 3 doses. They will need the Tdap, which you can combine the Tdap and polio, which is, there's a brand called Adacel. You'll get 1 shot. Yeah. And then you'll get a flu shot. I think the one in our country is, I think, Vaccigrip. Yeah. A flu shot if you are going within that period that I've told you before. So for me, I did my titers and everything was positive, but I will need to get the Adacel, which is Tdap and polio, and the flu shot if I go within this time, which most definitely it will be. The brand that we have in our country is Vaccigrip. That's what I'll get. So guys, these vaccines are not many, but they are expensive, and I'll not recommend someone to do it last minute. If you know of a place that is recommended by your immigration offices in your country for this vaccination, please go start these vaccinations early, because some of them need several doses. If you've never gotten them, like the hepatitis, they need several doses, and between each dose there is a period. So please start early and start getting this vaccination early, and keep your records so that the time that you will be needed for your medicals, you will be able to avail your records that you've gotten these vaccinations, so that they don't become a setback when you are just about to leave. I've done most of them, and I'm also continuing to do, because some of them are very expensive. You need some coin in your pocket before you do them. So I'm trying to do them. And please go to the CDC website and research. And because this channel is mostly for nurses, I know you guys have an agency that is behind you. They will send you the recommended vaccination. Just make sure you follow them, because they follow strictly what the CDC requires for you to be given a visa to the US. So start early and just do these things early. Don't be a last minuter, because it might come last minute and you don't really know the prices of these vaccines. Yeah, so just start early, because last minute will get you confused. Start early, and at the same time, you don't want to overload your kids with vaccines last minute, different shots, many shots, because some of these vaccines are not interesting. I did my COVID vaccine and my hand, I couldn't lift my hand for a day. So imagine if they inject you several vaccines at the same time. It will be it will be hard on your body, but you have to do this before they issue a visa. You don't need this one to be a setback for you not to pass your medicals, for you not to get a visa on time. So just start early, start researching how much these vaccines are, and start researching which are the accredited facilities that you need these vaccines from. Start researching which are the accredited labs that you can get your titers from if you've gotten some of these vaccines, because I know most of you have. Start researching those labs and go get your titers, keep those records. Go get your vaccines, keep those records. Make sure you have to prove that you've gotten these vaccines. So that is it about the vaccines, guys. I'll try very hard to edit this video very well so that you get these vaccines. And also, if you can write them down as you're watching so that you know exactly what to expect. So that is it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your support, and let's keep this channel growing. If you found this video interesting, please hit the subscribe button, please, and also like this video and share this video if you know it will help someone, because I know that there are people who are looking for this information out there. So share it and subscribe, and comment in the comment box what you want me to talk about next, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.